Shabbat Shalom. Welcome everyone to Beth Sholom. Wonderful to have you all here as we bring in Shabbat together and begin the summer. It feels like the beginning of the summer here at Temple Beth Sholom this week, and of course tomorrow night is Shavuot, so we will count the Omer tonight for the last time, and we have a few wonderful things to celebrate tonight, as you will see. So we will begin by just welcoming each other, and even if you've already said hello to the people next to you, let's all stand up and find someone new to greet. Normally we begin with candle lighting. We're going to wait a little bit for that. So let's turn to Lechuna Ranana. It's on page 12 as we begin the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat. Lechuna Ranana L'Adonai, Nariya Letzur Yishenu, Nekadma Panav Betoda, Bizmirot Nariya Lo, Shiru L'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru L'Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Asru meyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim niflotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Umulal me'od, Before we continue with the service, I just have to say there's a few people who are here tonight who I'm so happy to see. And one of them, of course, is Howard. Howard, it's so nice having you back. Looking like $1 million, I might add. And I'm really happy also to have just met Naomi Davis, who is back from a year of traveling around the world. So it's great to have you home. And if anyone else is new to Temple Beth Sholom, and we can welcome you, if you'd like to just stand up and say your name, I'd love to do that. If you're new to the community, yeah, stand up. Yeah, or back after a while, whatever. Wonderful. Yeah, welcome back. Great. Good. Okay, great. All right. Well, so welcome to you, and welcome, Ben. It's great to have you and partner here. We will continue with Lecha Dodi, page 20. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad yishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor ha'bracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri ki va'orech kumi ori uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'v'tzohala toch emune am segula. Boi chala lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing and continue with the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Baruch Adonai
We remain standing as we call up now Stephen Hamilton and his family for the kindling of the Shabbat candles and the Kiddush. I'll ask you to come on up here. We're going to all turn back in the prayer book to page 2 as we prepare to welcome this part of Shabbat with the kindling of candles.
No, mommy. Do they come? My parents too? Yeah?
It's okay.
You're doing it.
Sure.
Should I say the prayer? Should I say the prayer?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher
קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו
להדליק נר, להדליק נר של שבת.
We continue in preparation.
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Amen.
Page 4 for Kiddush.
Which one? The heavens? And there was evening, and there was morning the sixth day. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done before.
Kiddush is on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Barei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kudsho be'avaton Chinchilanu zikaron lemahaseh bereshit kihuyon techilam lemikra kodesh zecher liti'ah mitraim kivanu bacharta Mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kotzecha v'tava uvratzon chinchilanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh ha'shabbat
L'chaim, Yasher Koach.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. So please,
And as
drink
they're
the
having a
wine and
l'chaim,
share it with your family.
I'm going to ask all of us to remain standing, and we're going to turn back in our prayer books to page 30, where we continue with the Ma'ariv Aravim. Let's read together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitfuna mishnei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom umevi layla, Adonai tzvot shemo, El chai v'chayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'alam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim.
Aravim. And
Continue.
as we continue with Ahavat Olam on the next page, and we will sing this together on this Shabbat before Shavuot as we proclaim God's love for us through Torah. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael. ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה נגי יומם ולילה ועבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולם ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל.
We take a moment now in preparation for Shema to meditate on the oneness of the universe, to think about our connection with each other, with all of God's creatures, as well as to think about the miracle that we are all connected with the past, the present, the future, that in terms of our understanding of the universe, it's all one. So we take a quiet moment to meditate on those words, and then we'll chant together words of Shema.
Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
Should I start? ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבביך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך בשיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך ועתך ובלכתך בדרך ושרתך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem. Yasher koach. Excellent. Excellent. You can sit down now. Very good. Yes. Take that with you. Okay. Let's turn to page 39. As you'll notice, there are several people in the room who are wearing orange, and some of us even grabbed a ribbon as we were coming in. This is for Wear Orange for Gun Violence Prevention Awareness. So as we read on the bottom of page 39 together responsively, let's be thinking of the need for greater awareness and changes to many aspects of our society, including our society's relationship with guns. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. And we pray that our prayers, like the Micha Mocha on the next page, will be only half the equation in addition to our action to create the world of wholeness and peace. Micha Mocha, page 40. Kamocha bailim Adonai, mihi kamocha nedar bakodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele, yalai lai lai la la lai, yalai lai lai lai, yalai lai lai la la lai, yalai lai lai lai, lai 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 lai. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Let's read together the Hashkivenu, page 42, in English. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. So we will continue with a silent Amidah for the evening. We'll sing out loud just Adonai Sefatai, page 46, and then I invite you to continue your own prayer on your own through page 62. You can be seated whenever you're through, so please rise as you're able as we stand for the main prayer. Adonai Sefatai tiftachu fiyai ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. If you're still davening, please continue. I'm going to continue with an Israeli song called Ani Ve'ata. It is found in your book on page 348. This was a song made famous by Eric Einstein in Israel, and the words are, "You and I will change the world, you and I, then all will join us. Though it's been said before, it doesn't matter, you and I will change the world. You and I will start from the beginning. It may be difficult, but it's nothing, it's not so terrible." And so many of you are traveling to Israel this summer. Raise your hand if that applies to you. Wonderful. So we'll have a special blessing a little later in the service. If you know the words, please join in. Ani ve'ata nishaneh et ha'olam. Ani ve'ata az yavo'u kvar kulam. Amru et ze kodem lefanai, ze lo meshaneh. Ani ve'ata nishaneh et ha'olam. Ani ve'ata nenaseh mechatchala. Yiheh lanu ra, ein davar ze lo nora. Amru et ze kodem lefanai, ze lo meshaneh. Ani ve'ata nishaneh et ha'olam. Okay, our thoughts turn to those in need of healing. We have printed many names of those of people who have called in to add names to the community list. It's printed in your program. In addition to these names, if you'd like to mention anyone you're praying for tonight, a family member, a friend, community member, please add their name. Thank you. So let's say the words of Mishaberach together, 253. Mishaberach abotenu, mekor habracha li'imotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And together we say, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. And let us say together, Amen. And we'll turn to page 278. This is the last night of counting the Omer, these 49 days between Passover and Shavuot, as tomorrow night begins Shavuot. So today is the 49th day of the Omer. We say this blessing, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer. Today is the 49th day, Arba'im v'tesha shehem shiva'im shivaot, 49 days of the Omer. So this morning, I went to the ocean for mikvah with Carla Wilson, who is here tonight, and she had a mikvah and a beit din marking her joining the Jewish people, and believe it or not, it was beautiful weather this morning out at the beach. And Carla, I'd like to call you up for to communally welcome you to the Jewish people, to Temple Beth Sholom, and to offer you some blessings on this very special occasion. Weather changes quickly in Miami Beach. So we say, Bruchim Abaim B'Shem Adonai, Be'rach Nuchem Mi Beit Adonai. Blessed are you who have come here in the name of God. We bless you in the house of God. So in this season, with Shavuot upon us tomorrow night and renewing our covenant and commitment with God and Torah, I want to ask you, Carla, to say these words that Ruth said to Naomi.
Okay. And Ruth said, "Do urge me to leave you."
Yes. You're right.
And Ruth said, "Do urge me to leave you, to turn away from joining you. For wherever you will go, will I go, and wherever you lodge, will I lodge. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. I vow before God that nothing but death could part me from you."
Beautiful. Thank you. And I'll ask you 7 questions. We know the right answer. You already said such a beautiful proclamation of faith this morning after our Beit Din, but in presence of community, I want to ask you these questions once again. Do you choose to enter the eternal covenant between God and the people Israel and to become a Jew of your own free will?
Yes.
Do you commit yourself to the pursuit of Torah and Jewish knowledge?
Yes.
Do you promise to establish a Jewish home and to participate actively in the life of the synagogue and of the Jewish community?
Yes.
If you should be blessed with more children, do you promise to raise them as Jews?
Yes.
Do you commit to building a beautiful, meaningful relationship with the state of Israel and its people?
Yes.
Do you accept Judaism to the exclusion of all religious faiths and practices?
Yes.
Do you pledge your loyalty to Judaism and to the Jewish people under all circumstances?
Yes.
And so, since you said yes 7 times, I want to bless you with the Misha Berach Avotenu v'Imatenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarivka Rachel v'Leah. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, bless Malka bat Avraham v'Sarah, who has cast her lot with the people Israel. She is a Geret Tzedeket, among the people of the God of Abraham and Sarah. May she prosper in all her worthy endeavors. May the work of her hands be blessed. Together we all say, Amen. So I want to open the ark. So if we can all stand, and Rabbi Davis, if you can join me. And for the first time, Malka bat Avraham v'Sarah will hold the Torah scroll and say the Shema for the first time holding the Torah. So go ahead. Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Amen. Beautiful. And as you're holding the Torah, we will also bless you with these words, these ancient words from our tradition. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May God's presence lift you up and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's presence be always something that encourages you toward a place of holiness, lifting you up in this world. And may you be filled with the blessing of shalom, the blessing of wholeness and peace. And together we say,
Amen. Amen. Beautiful.
Simen
Tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov. Mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu. Please please be seated, and I've asked Malka to just share a few words about her journey.
Shabbat Shalom.
Beth Sholom.
This has been a very long journey for me, and I'm very emotional tonight, so if I cry, I apologize. I'm honored to share my first Shabbat as a Jew with all of you. It's a very deep and meaningful day for me, and I thank all of you for participating and being here and just being able to share the love that I've received from Rabbi Bear and from the community. I have always been a strong believer in seeking the truth and following it wherever it leads me, and this philosophy has been present in my decision to convert to Judaism. Looking back, Judaism was in one way or another always been present in my life, and many markers were present in my journey. I have had long-standing friendships with Latin American Jews, some like Jesse, who's been my friend since I was 14 years old. I just turned 45 yesterday, so you can see the amount of years. My first boyfriend of 5 years, to where my Hebrew name Malka originated. So I've always had somewhat of an understanding of Jewish customs, traditions, festivals, and beliefs, and was drawn to it. I attended Catholic school and would always question the nuns in religion class, which was shunned upon. Unlike Judaism, devout Roman Catholics are taught not to question, which always leads me to more questions and a total disconnect. During my college years at the University of Miami, I started looking into religion as a philosophical investigation. I took an elective on world religion and enjoyed it so much, I took another, and before I knew it, I was majoring in religious studies. This opened up my exposure to world religions beyond Christianity. 3 years ago, on May 27th, my father passed away. I began thinking about the afterlife and became aware of a spiritual void. And then I knew for sure. I knew I needed something more, something greater. And once again, I looked into learning about Judaism. From that moment on, everything has perfectly fallen into place, and you could say it was my destiny, or beshert. I have been blessed with Rabbi Bear, and to participate in the Judaism introductory course, which I must say was an amazing experience, having the opportunity to learn from 13 rabbis, Jewish educators, a Hebrew teacher, and I don't know if you know Linda Levin, who's just an amazing person. Through this process, the more I learned, the more connected I became. It was very refreshing to have some puzzling things make sense, not engage in mental gymnastics, or to turn off my intellect or emotions. Judaism, for me, just fits. During my Jewish training, there were moments that I felt spiritually inebriated and an indescribable bond. The Holocaust class and visiting the Miami Beach Holocaust Memorial with Mark Baranek and paying our respects to the mass murder of 6 million European Jews, and then in class, listening to the historic details and crimes committed against his father and Jews was so powerful and valuable. I went with a Jewish friend who, I don't know, is here today, but Sammy, and neither of us had been there, and I've been living in Miami since I was 7 years old, and it took such a profound effect on us, and it was just, if any of you have not been there, I really recommend you going and just seeing what an emotional and beautiful memorial that we have. With Judaism, I feel at peace. I have found something I have been looking for my entire life. I look forward to becoming part of the Jewish people, sharing the Torah as well as the history and eternal destiny. I know that by entering the covenant between God and the Jewish people, I too will be a daughter of Israel and will share in their destiny and commitment to God and follow his wishes as expressed in the Torah. Thank you for your time.
Beautiful. Malka, you have so much heart, and we're so glad that you will add your passion and your heart to this community as a member now of Temple Beth Sholom. Welcome.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Welcome. So stay up here. Stay up here for a moment, up on the bima, because we have more blessings tonight. And for our next blessings, I'd like to call up anyone who is going to Israel with Nifty in Israel after the confirmation class. or any other 10th grade program this summer, if you guys could all please come up. So this is a strong representation of, I think there's 20 or so students going this summer. Awesome. So come on, stand up on the bima, put your arms around each other. And if anyone else is traveling to Israel this summer at any point, please join them, because we want to send you off and bless you as well. Great. Yes, the end of the summer. Okay, and Mark, I want to ask you to share a few words before the blessing.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
We do whatever we can here to give our teens Jewish experiences. And one of the most impacting is a trip to Israel. We're so proud that this year we have 31 teens that will have been in Israel throughout the year. We had 4 on long-term spring programs, 13 that went on the March of the Living, and we have 18 teens going to Israel on either the NIFTY program, one of the NIFTY programs, or the Alexander Muss High School in Israel program. We're very proud that we have the ability here, the resources, that no child, no teen gets turned away from any Jewish experience. Any kid of our temple who wants to go gets to go. And that's because of the leadership of our temple, Jeff Graff, our leadership on our clergy, and the generosity of a number of people. One of them is here tonight. Neil Dubrow is here, and Neil's fund generates money to send 3 teens to Israel every summer. And so we're really proud. We're very grateful. And I have to tell you, the 6 kids that are representing the group here tonight are really wonderful kids who have grown up here. And we're so proud that they get to go to Israel this summer and then come back and share on Yom Kippur. One of the highlights for me is having the kids share their most memorable experience. And for these kids who have grown up and have watched the older ones do it, and now it's going to be their turn, it's a really big moment. So to the kids going to Israel, to Selene, to Naomi, we wish you a wonderful, safe, meaningful, and impacting experience.
Beautiful. So join them, Mark, and I want to share this blessing. As we approach celebrating the holiday of Shavuot, one of my teachers from Israel, from a place I studied in Israel, Pardes, reminded me of this teaching, that there's this famous idea taught by Rashi on Exodus 19:2. The Jewish people are said to have camped at Mount Sinai in order to receive the Torah. Rashi, noticing the change in language from the plural, vichano, they camped, to the singular, vichan, he camped, explains that this encampment of the Jewish people was different from all other moments. Here, in preparation for receiving the Torah, the Jewish people became like one person with one heart. Ke'ish echad belev echad. That is the power of Torah. It unites us and causes us to feel love for one another. So I pray that on your journeys to Israel this summer, whether for the first time in 10th grade or your 10th time, that you have that experience of a sense of a shared heart of being like one person with one heart in the homeland of our people. So I want to say this Misha Berach, this blessing for your journey. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and watch over each one of you who's about to fulfill the mitzvah of visiting the land of Israel. May you journey there safely and reach your destinations in the land of Israel in peace. May you return safely to us. May our and God's blessings be with you as you journey through the land of our ancestors, whether brothers and sisters today strive to rebuild and revitalize the Holy Land. May the Holy One of Blessing deliver you from all trouble and distress. May you find blessing and success in all you undertake, together with all Israel, finding inspiration and renewal in our people and our land. And together we all say, Amen. Mazel tov. And we will continue with Elenu, so
you guys
stay
just
here.
Stay right here. We're going to ask everyone to rise. We're going to turn to page 282. We're going to ask Stephen and his family to come on up here to help open the Ark there.
We're on 282. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tet gedula le'otzer breshit, shehu sanu kigoyei haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shel
please be seated? It is our tradition to remember, and it's a tradition that we take very seriously. We memorialize in many ways. We memorialize by, I got to move this way. It's not working, huh?
Not me.
Okay. Here we go. We memorialize in many ways by sharing stories, by giving tzedakah, by creating memorials, and by living our lives in better ways. All to remember the names and the lives of those who are precious to us, those who inspired us, whose values we emulate. Tonight we dedicate plaques in memory of Morris Blake and Betty Yaffe Blake. The poet Hannah Senish tells us that the memories of our loved ones do endure. So I'll ask you to please join me in this reading on page 291, the bottom of page 291. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with the people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. And so we remember now the moments shared and the times of companionship and closeness, and we dedicate these plaques in loving memory of Morris Blake and Betty Yaffe Blake. These plaques will join the other thousands of plaques that are in our alcove of remembrance down the hall from us, where members of our congregation for 75 years have memorialized those who are loved in that way. And in so doing, we dedicate our lives to living in reflection and in honor of their highest ideals. And I'll ask you to join me in this refrain of a poem that's not in your book, but the refrain is very simple. In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and the rebirth of spring,
We remember them.
in the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer,
We remember them.
in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength,
We remember them.
when we are lost and sick at heart,
We remember them.
when we have joys we yearn to share. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. And we take those names into our hearts along with the others who have died at this season and years past. As a congregation, we remember the more than 6 million men, women, and children who were murdered in the Shoah and the Holocaust. We remember those who died in the struggle to reestablish the modern state of Israel and have died since that time, making sure that our homeland exists for us and for Jews everywhere. Remember all those who perished in the name of liberty, freedom, justice, and righteousness. And we remember all the innocent victims of hatred, ignorance, terrorism, and natural disaster. On this Shabbat, we remember friends and family whose yortzites are being observed and whose names have lovingly been inscribed in plaques, which are, as I said, in our alcove of remembrance. So we remember James Abramson, Gladys Alliger, Ellis Lewis Amder, Sarah Arkin, Joseph L. Arkin, David Ballow, Kayla Chakov Beichman, Hyman Bilzen, Isaac Adam Blimbaum, Frida M. Block, Archie Bachner, Dora Brower, Frida Aronoff Cohen, William Cohen, Leah Kornblum, Rebecca Dorfman, Matilda Ephraim, Isaac Ignatz, Gustav Ehrenfeld, Joseph Eidelman, Diana Flatow, Philip Getz, Bertha Gratz, Lillian K. Gruskin, Maurice Gross, Harriet Hamill, Judy Hertzberg, Alexander Fred Jonas, Ruth Merritt Kasnet, Nathan Knoll, Yetta Corman, Anna Landsman, Nathan Latouche, Sylvan Lazarus, Esther Levy, Ray Lowenstein, Anna Lowenstein, Rhoda S. Morris, Belle Radin, Anna Robinson, Jacob Aaron Rosenberg, Marilee Russin, Tanya Schneidman, Samuel Shapiro, Samuel Simon, Rita Stein, Martin J. Steiner, Sarah Lee Taub, Evelyn B. Weil, J.Z. Winkler, and Isadora Zeplowitz. And we remember as well at this time friends and families whose yortsites are being observed. We remember Samuel Adler, Jorge Isaac Basuk, Camille Berg, Harry Cohen, Juana Crespo, Sadie Darsky, Stanley Dubrow, Blanche Duke, Victor Fonseca, Morton Glick, Tracy Hope Glickler, Catalina Geiker de Mordahovich, Arthur Hertzberg, Herbert Hoberman, Joseph Karsh, Franny Kramer, Leona Levy, Rose Levine, Florence Litz, Doris Nathan, Robert M. Newman, Berta Niven, Albert Rosenfeld, Maria Sanchez, Ethel Schwartz, Anna Serban, Mark Shalom, Zelda Shevlin, Samuel Shinensky, Faye Sukonik, John Marcus Sussman, Amy Ann Ty, Jerry Turner, Paula Wiesenfeld, and Elaine Weiss. We remember as well those who have died in recent days, and among those who've died are those that died in gun violence in the Virginia Beach shooting a week ago, where a disgruntled city employee fatally shot 12 people and wounded 5 others in this horrible mass shooting. And remember Richard Nettleton, Ryan Keith Cox, Christopher Kelly Rapp, Catherine Nixon, Tara Welch Gallagher, Lakita Brown, Mary Louise Gale, Alexander Gusev, Herbert Burt Snelling, Joshua Harding, Michelle Missy Langer, and Robert Bobby Williams. And we remember as well friends and family members of our congregation who died in recent days, and their families remain in the shloshim of mourning, in the 30-day period of mourning. We remember Minnie Cohen Roth, Stanley M. Bloom, Gloria Singerman, Morton Robinson, Danny Jonas, Rona Raphael, Jean Howard, Alan Wilson. And if there's a name that I haven't mentioned, you're saying Kaddish, you're in a period of mourning, I'll ask you to please rise and mention those names out loud. And please remain standing as we're going to join together for Kaddish in just a moment. Thank you. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may the memory of all the righteous in our lives be a blessing as we rise and with one voice recite words of Kaddish found on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei v'yomei v'chayei tuchol beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shmei kudusha b'richu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram yom, v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlam araba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, V'yimaru, amen. May the source of peace grant peace to all of you who mourn, comfort all who are bereaved, and send healing to all who are saddened, as together we say, amen. Please be seated. I'd like to invite up now Stephen Pardo, a member of our board, our newly installed first vice president of the congregation, which means that Stephen becomes the next president in a year from now. So, welcome. It's Mazel Tov.
Welcome, welcome. So if you'll open up your brochure, this right here, look on the left-hand side, you'll see there are a couple of announcements. And before I get to those, I first want to give a big mazel tov to Stephen Hamilton and to the Hamilton family on your upcoming bar mitzvah celebration tomorrow. And in addition to Malka, congratulations and mazel tov on joining Temple Beth Sholom officially. And your words were beautiful and inspiring to all of us. In addition to that, I want to give a big mazel tov to all of those who are going to Israel, especially our teens. Very exciting, and we can't wait to hear about all your stories when you return and on Yom Kippur. So when you look at the program, you'll notice that we're focusing a lot on Shavuot this weekend. So we have in the morning, tomorrow, the traditional minyan service as well as the Torah study. On tomorrow night, there's a program which we still have room for those who are interested. It's going to be a phenomenal program. It's called Eat, Pray, Learn, and Sing. And the activities, it's a little bit more than 2 hours. It's going to be just wonderful. And if you are interested, please talk to Mark Berenik, and he will tell you all the details. And we hope that you will join us. We already have a great turnout for that. And then finally, for those of you studying for the Shavuot service of Torah study and the service itself, Sunday morning, starting at 9:30 a.m. There's a couple of other reminders for the next week, which you'll see in our program, and of course, Father's Day next Sunday. So thank you very much, and again, Shabbat Shalom to everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So this beautiful Shabbat evening, Mazel Tov, all of you going to Israel. It's really wonderful. It makes a rabbi very happy to see people going to Israel and people becoming bar mitzvah and people becoming Jewish. And as a matter of personal privilege, the fact that my daughter has returned from traveling in Asia for the last 14 months and having her back here with the temple, in the temple for Shabbat, it's really glad you're home, daughter. But beside that, we started this week a new book of the Torah. This week we started the book Bamidbar, which means in the desert. It begins with God commanding Moses to take a census, an accounting of the entire Israelite people in the desert. The desert is a difficult place. If you're driving through it between Las Vegas and California or something like that, it's not so bad. But if you live in the desert, or you're trying to survive in the desert, or you're wandering in the desert, it is a very difficult place. It's the Sinai Desert, where our ancestors were wandering, is situated between Egypt's Gulf of Suez and the Gulf of Eilat. In the north, along the Mediterranean Sea, are endless stretches of shifting dunes and sand. Further south, jagged limestone cliffs. And in the south, tall granite mountains, valleys, and gorges. Even today, there are fewer than 100,000 people that live in this arid and unfriendly region. And this is the place that our ancestors wandered. There was no hotel. There was no, let's go get us a bottle of water from the store. I'm hungry. What can we eat? They were wandering, trying to survive in this very, very difficult place. And the question is often asked, why was the Torah given in the desert as opposed to a land flowing with milk and honey? I would have preferred to get the Torah in that land of milk and honey. Why did Moses not lead the people directly to the land? It's not that far. I think it's like closer than Boca, something like that. I mean, I would never go as far as Boca, but and throughout history, we've been given a number of answers to these questions of why in the desert and why not, why wander around for 40 years. The famous Israeli statesman Abi Ibn said that our ancestors were locked in the Sinai for strategic reasons. They were few in numbers and incapable of defeating any of the armies that they were eventually going to be coming in contact with. And so they had to get themselves strengthened. One Israeli historian, Nachman Ran, he says, he agrees with Abi Ibn, but he also sees the desert experience as a time for building a sense of nationalism and religious solidarity. Ran says, to a people whose entire living generation had seen only the level lands of Egypt, the Israelite march into this region of mountain magnificence with its sharp and splintered peaks and profound valleys, must have been a perpetual source of astonishment and awe. No nobler school could have been conceived for training a nation of slaves into a nation of free men, or weaning a people from the grossness of idolatry to a sense of the grandeur and power of the God alike of nature and mind. Other commentators believe that our wandering in the desert was to toughen us up. Why do parents do that? This is going to make you stronger. You're going to be better because of this. What doesn't kill you will, all that. But somehow this hunger and thirst and being attacked by enemies and the discomfort and constant danger, that somehow all of this will strengthen the will of the people to survive. It gives birth to the conviction that no matter how oppressed or beaten, we will be victorious over those who threaten our destruction. The famous Rabbi Akiva stretches this idea of suffering a little bit further. And he says that the wandering Jews, their trials and sufferings allowed them to merit receiving the priceless gift of Torah. Not crazy about that idea. I got to go through a really, really difficult experience before I can get that wisdom. Can't we just tell us? Can't we just say, oh, don't murder, have Shabbat? Why do we have to wander and experience this difficulty? Sometimes, Rabbi Akiva says, the reward of our own suffering is simply the ability to become more empathetic and more sympathetic to the experience of others. And then finally, Rabbi Pinchas Peli sees the desert as a metaphor describing the psychological and spiritual realms of human existence. He says, there is a wilderness within each person, a desert where selfish desire rules, where one looks out only for one's own needs. No person is ever satisfied in the desert. There is constant complaining about lack of food and water, the scorching hot days and bitter nights. Anger, frustration, disagreements, and hunger prevail. The Torah is given in the desert, Peli argues, to conquer and curb the demonic wilderness within human beings. The lesson here is that if human beings do not conquer the desert, it may eventually conquer them. There is no peaceful coexistence between the two. Each of us in our lives experience the desert. It doesn't have to be a geographic region. It is indeed a time of loneliness and thirst. Our charge is to find how to not only survive, but how, like we're going to celebrate tomorrow night and on Sunday, how to receive Torah, how to grow and prosper from the experience. That's what Torah is. We call it the tree of life. It's really this symbol of growth and prospering, that somehow we can get better in spite of difficulty. May the wanderings of our ancestors help us to freely find our way, and may the deserts we most inevitably will go through, may these deserts help us to bloom with new energy and strength. Ken Yehirat Son, may it be God's will, but it's going to be through our actions that we find our way out of our own deserts. Amen. Amen. So we're going to sing together a little prayer for getting out of the cosmic desert through a sense of peace called Oseh Shalom. So let's all rise, and then we'll sing some Oseh Shalom, and we'll join together for some sweetness in the Welcome Center.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'himru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimroma, say shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, ve'al yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.